It's time for the Kennedy Nöel interview. She's already tweeting out to everybody to tune in, so let's get this show on the road. Let's welcome the one and only. There. I'll let myself do it. So there we go. Is this the one and only Kennedy Nöel?
This is.
How you doing, Kennedy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Actually my co-host, who's not with me right now, he's the one that brought you to my attention. And as I'm going through and researching you, I'm like, this girl is the definition of totally driven. I mean, everything you've gone through in your life, and here you are, still at a young age, still doing it. I don't know what to say. I mean, you are truly an inspiration for people.
Oh, thank you.
Now, how did you get started in music at such a young age?
I grew up in a musical family. My dad's a touring musician, and from 2 weeks old, I was thrown on an airplane and then grew up on a tour bus. And so I was really raised in that environment, and not only was able to kind of have an insight to the music business, but I fell in love with just kind of all of the aspects, like not just the musician side or the artist side, but I hung out with all the crew guys and all the techs, and so I just really fell in love with all aspects of it. And when you're raised in it from such a young age, it's like, well, now that's a part of who I am. I can't get myself out of that environment. I'd be miserable if I wasn't.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I'm just a person who just loves music. I played it when I was younger, but yeah, I mean, it's such an important part of my life, let alone if you're growing up into it like that.
Right. Yeah.
Now, what instrument did you start playing first? Was it piano?
It was piano. So it's a funny story. It's kind of one of those stories where everyone's like, oh my gosh, that can't be true. But my dad's a piano player, and so we had pianos in the house, and I would tinker on it and make noises, but like never actually really played. And then he came up to me and he was like, hey, there's an opportunity to play piano for Kelly Clarkson on the Grammys. And I actually starred in her music video of Because of You. And so they were kind of recreating the concept of the video for the Grammy performance, which was where you had Kelly's full band, and then you had a little piano player, a little girl, and then like a kid orchestra. And so he was like, hey, why don't you I'll try and teach you the part, and you can audition, and we'll just see how it goes from there. So I learned left and right hand in like 2 hours, and then 2 weeks later I was playing the Grammys. So kind of
Stop it. Are you serious?
Yeah, kind of a crazy introduction into an instrument, but kind of a cool story to tell. So, yeah, that was my first instrument that I picked up.
So that was the moment, like when he showed you that song, that was your first moment playing?
Yep, pretty much.
All right, I'm speechless right now. I don't even know what to say.
I guess you could say that it was just like a part of me. I was born. That's kind of one of those moments where it's like you're born to do something, and clearly I was born to play that instrument if I could pick it up that quickly.
Wow. Now how was it, like, did you understand at 8 years old truly what the Grammys were?
Oh, not at all. And I think I'm actually really thankful my parents didn't really tell me kind of how big the Grammys were. Like, obviously I knew it was an award show and, like, famous people went there, but that was kind of it. And whenever we were walking to the stage to do the live performance, I think I kind of started to realize how big of a deal this was. Like, you're in the Staples Center in this huge arena, and I'm starting to realize, oh my gosh, there's a ton of people here, and then there's a ton of people watching. And so I go to my parents, I'm like, I can't do this. And they're like, oh, don't worry. Like, it's pre-recorded, so you're not actually playing live. We'll just, you just look like you're playing it. Actually play your parts, but, like, you're okay. You don't need to worry about messing up. My parents totally lied straight to my face, and it was 100% live. But I'm thankful that they did, because that got rid of the nerves and it calmed me down, and I was able to play my part the way I needed to. But Yeah, an 8-year-old doesn't fully understand it until she's, like, right there.
Did you like? Did you like look out in the audience and see like anybody like a huge star right there in your face, and you're like, what am I doing here?
I think it was kind of just a blur, to be honest. Like the whole area is dark, so you can't really see much. But I was just so focused on like not messing up that I can't remember much from that actual performance.
Wow. So I guess at that point, between being in Kelly's video and that, you've really formed a friendship with her over the years.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to know her for the past 13 years, and she has been such a support system for me, and she's supported me in just about everything that I've ever done. And I've always been very aware of when I bring her up, and I've never really asked her for anything, nor do I really want to, because I want to be respectful, but she's always been the one who's like, you should do this, like, here, I'll pull you up for this, and she's just been so stinking supportive of me and everything that I do. She's incredible.
That's awesome. So at that point, like, after the Grammys, did you, like, start thinking to yourself, like, I want to do this more and more?
Yeah, kind of. Around that time, I was acting as well, and I would sing, and my dad owned a studio, so anytime, like, I wanted to just practice, he would pull up a track, and I would sing, and I grew up more in a studio than performing live, and did musicals, all of that action, and never really took it seriously, though, until at that time we were living in Los Angeles, and then when I was 11, we moved to Nashville. And,
okay.
Nashville is Music City, and that's when I started songwriting. And I had my first songwriting session at 11 years old, and it was kind of another one of those moments of learning how to play the piano really fast that all of us kind of went, oh, like, this, I need to do this. Like, it wasn't just an 11-year-old song. It was actually, like, a decent song. And my parents at first, they were like, are you sure you actually, like, wrote part of that? Like, are you sure it just wasn't in the room? And I was like, no, like, I really did. So they came into the next session, and they were like, oh, my gosh, like, you're actually a songwriter. You're actually writing these songs. And so it was definitely, like, around 11 that it was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, whatever we can do to make this happen, this is absolutely where I want my life to go.
That had to be, like, for your father even. Parents always, like, it might be like a little thing deep down. They'll say, like, I want my child to follow in my footsteps. And at that moment, like, probably not even the Grammys part of it, but that moment where you're now at 11 years old writing music that is not 11-year-old worthable. It's probably more like 18, 20 years old.
Right.
He must have been like, that's my girl. Like, that is my girl. So proud of you.
Oh my gosh, they're so proud of me. They're the best parents ever. But the funniest thing though is like you just said, they're following in my footsteps. Like, this is so great. My parents literally like pulled me aside when they started to realize I was taking this seriously, and they're like, please don't do this. Like, this is really hard. It's really scary for us as parents. Like, please make sure you really want to do this. And they kind of tried to talk me out of it, and I was like, nope. This is what I'm doing. Like, I'm pretty determined now, so this is what we're going to do. And they're like, all right, well, if anybody is going to be in your life and is going to support you in this, we want it to be us. So we will be behind you 100%. Whenever you want to stop, just say stop, because it's going to get hard and it's not going to be easy, but we want to be there for you. So they are just outstanding. I could talk about them for hours.
Oh, that's great. Now, you had mentioned, too, like, something I wanted to touch on, too, like, and you just mentioned it, acting, and I see also, like, you're a painter, and I'm just like, this girl is just, like, a ball of creativity.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something in me. I love creativity. I love encouraging people to be really creative. I think it's very important for everybody to have that side of them. And I've just always been drawn to things that fuel that inside of me. So I started doing drawing and painting, and I was like fashion designing when I was 6, and like all these crazy things, and I just can't get away from it. Like, I'm one of those people where for a while there, I was like, okay, let's see how I can function without all of this. Like, let's really test to see if this is what I want to do. So I, like, took 2 weeks off from doing anything creative, just tried to act like a normal kid, which is extremely hard for me. And at the end of the 2 weeks, I was like, I am literally miserable. Like, this is the worst thing ever. So I'm totally drawn to it and can't get away from it. And I love anything that I can work with my hands and create something. Creating is just one of the most amazing things.
I'm sure you probably do too, like probably bounce back and forth. Like, say if you're trying to work on music and you get like a writer's block and you just need to take a break, is it like not even just going and like relaxing or watching TV or taking a walk or something? It's, all right, let me like start drawing and just start doodling with my hands and just let my mind escape for a little bit.
Exactly. If I'm not doing well in one creative side, then I just go to the other. And usually I process through that, and then I can go right back to where I was.
Wow. Now, as all that's going on, then you find out at 16 years old that you had thyroid cancer?
That's been one of the craziest journeys ever, like just kind of ridiculous. But it turned out like for the last minimum of 3 years, I had this cancer inside of me, and I had this like lump in my throat that for me, I thought it was just like a normal or more of like a large Adam's apple for a girl, and it was just really prominent. And then one day I kind of woke up and my neck swelled up, and I was like, Mom, I don't think this is normal. So through lots of doctor's appointments, we found out it was cancer and like all these crazy things. And you know, it's scary not only having surgeries and being diagnosed, like obviously that's horrible, but it was extremely scary to me because it was in my neck. And I knew that this surgery would be close to my vocal cords, and I had no idea what was going to happen from then on out. And once we removed that lump, that like I was singing over a giant tumor for so long and creating these really bad habits, really. Like I was a very loud singer. And after doing a show the next day, I would be so exhausted, and that's because I'm singing through this giant lump. And once you removed that, I did have to go through vocal therapy. I still do vocal therapy because all that muscle that I had built for that had gone away. All the techniques that I had learned, like, didn't really apply anymore. And so that's a very scary thing to go through because my vocal cords are super dear to me. Like, that's my way of talking to the world. That's where I get all my energy from. And I'm very happy to say that I have absolutely found my voice again, and it's actually like 10 times better than it was before. My strength, my range, my endurance, all of that like has improved because now I don't have that lump there anymore. So it was kind of, you know, a blessing and a curse in its own way of nobody wants to be diagnosed with cancer, and it was absolutely one of the worst things I've ever gone through. It wasn't easy, and it was very scary. But I am also thankful for the voice that I have on the other end. And now the things that I'm able to encourage people in and the story that I have to tell now, that's kind of worth it.
Wow. And then, like, wasn't it like 6 months later you found out you had melanoma on top of it?
Oh, my gosh, yes. It's insane. So I really, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer in October, and my last treatment, which was radiation, was in February. And so after that, we were like, okay, we're on the road to being cancer-free. Like, this is a really good sign. And so we were basically in remission at that point. And we've talked a lot about people don't fully understand the cost of survival, and what you do to survive is almost just as damaging as it is going through all of those procedures. So at that point, we were like, okay, we need to get out of this survival mode. We need to let our walls down. We need to start relaxing and start trusting that, all right, we're in a good spot. And then it was just like 3 months later that I find out I had melanoma, and we weren't even looking for it. Like, I went to a dermatologist to get a little spot removed, and they biopsy everything because that's protocol, and we just get a call, and they're like, I'm so sorry, but this is what it came back as. And that's like, again, I'm very thankful that my parents keep some things from me that are very important. So when I was diagnosed, they were very purposeful in saying, please don't Google this. Please don't ask questions. Like, we're going to handle all of this. And it was very scary. Melanoma is the deadliest cancer, skin cancer there is, and especially in minors. And all my doctors were just so shocked and blown away that I had ended up with 2 cancers under the age of 18. Like, it's just not normal. So
Right.
I had a procedure after that. I had a surgery in my ankle, couldn't walk for a month, but it came back 100% negative. Like, they got everything out of there, and they're all like, you don't even have to worry about anything coming back from this spot. We absolutely have it. So I'm very, very thankful to say I can let my walls down. I can get out of survival mentality because we're in a good spot now. I have my 6-month checkup next month for the thyroid cancer, and I'm truly believing it's going to come back really well. Like, I'm looking forward to a good report.
That's awesome. No, as you were going through that, I mean, did you go through any stages of depression or, just complete overwhelming sadness or just being scared? I mean, it had to be
absolutely.
For anybody, let alone a 16-year-old to be going through something like that. I mean, it just had to be, I don't know.
It's almost inevitable that you go through a depression or you hit those really, really deep lows. For a solid 6 months, anytime the phone rang and it was from my doctors, it was just worse and worse and worse reports. Like, it was kind of, you got to that point of, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? Or, oh my gosh, where am I going to be in the next few months? And it really is a miracle and a blessing that I'm here today. But really, the things that got me through it was my support system around me. We had so many people praying for me, but I had the best friends who, my whole thing was like, I'm fine talking about what happened, and in the moment I was fine talking about the facts, but I didn't want to emotionally talk about it. I just kind of went numb through it. And so my friends were there, and when I would get bad news and I would send my update text to people, they would just show up at my door and they'd pretty much kidnap me, and they'd say, all right, we're going to go distract you. Like, we're going to go do something so that you're not just sitting in this all day long. And so they are one of the number one reasons that, I made it through the way I did. I could have gone into such a worse depression, but they were so amazing about making sure I was distracted and that we could make the best memories possible.
That's great. Now, I'm sure, I mean, during that time, were you still, turning to music at that time? I'm sure there had to be some incredible songs coming out of you at that point.
It's actually, a lot of people ask me that question, and a lot of friends ask me in the middle of all of it, are you writing? Are you writing all of this down? And really, I think a lot of people, when they go through that, they're like, yeah, songwriting is going to be what brings me through this. And typically that's what songwriting did for me. But it was kind of one of those things of if I write this down, that means it's true. That means I'm writing it in stone, that this is a true story. And that was harder for me to face. So it really wasn't until after my last treatment that I was like, okay, I think I can start writing about this now, and I think I can start processing this in a healthy way. And so it's only been recently that I've started to write these songs and have I think my writing has improved in many ways, and my stories have improved, and I'm being very raw and genuine in my music now, whereas before, I mean, how much does a 16-year-old really have to say, or even a 12-year-old or whatever? And now I really do have a lot to say, and I have that new outlook on life, so my writing has matured even more. And in this EP that I'm working on now, I'm hoping that people can attach and relate to that true rawness that I'm finally releasing and really opening myself up and being real with people, because I just, you hit that point where it's life isn't worth putting on this face or putting on this persona. There's so many other things that you can do, and So I've already had a few people who have heard my story, and they'll contact me, and they'll be like, oh, my gosh, thank you for being so real. This is what I'm going through right now. And, like, I've been able to talk with them through that. And so in my music, 100%, like, it's changing and it's evolving, and I'm really excited to hear what people think of this new product I'm releasing, because it's super special and dear to me, and I hope that there's at least something that each person who listens to it can latch on to or relate to.
I'm sure they can, because I was listening to the single Crossover, which is going to be the EP, correct? And it's
correct.
Great. I loved it.
Thank you.
Which you're doing a fundraiser campaign for that right now.
Yes, we are actually just about to end it. It ends this weekend on Sunday. But yeah, we've been working on it for a while, and I'm so blown away by the support and generosity of others. Like, it's been amazing.
And going back to, like, Kelly Clarkson, she did a little video for you to show her support and get the word out there from her closet, no less.
Yeah, the sponsors.
Go ahead.
The sponsors, like, they've all been people who have known me for a long time and have walked through these crazy journeys with me, and having their support and people responding to that, like, that warms my heart so much. You really see the people who are true and genuine in your life when you start doing things like this. They've been just so sweet.
Yeah, and another person was Brian from Korn.
Yes. Oh my gosh. He's like his video is by far my favorite. I'm so thankful for everyone who did their sponsor videos, but his is my favorite because I think he's the biggest contrast from everyone who we've asked to do them. And I've known Brian and his daughter for a while, and he, on the outside, obviously he looks super scary and, like, rough, and once you get to know him, he's just the biggest teddy bear, and he's so sweet, and he's been so sweet to me. And so I love the fact that he's, like, in the studio with Korn, and there's, like, heavy metal music going on behind it, and then he's just talking about me and supporting me, and, like, it's just the best video.
I saw you. I think you had put it up on Facebook the other day, and I saw it, and I'm like, how did this happen? Like, where is the connection with this one right now?
It's a weird connection. Basically, I was homeschooled the majority of my life, and I graduated early at 16, which ended up being a huge blessing. But his daughter went to the same schooling co-op that I went to. So I used to hang out with his daughter, and he would come over and pick her up or come say hi. And then last year or the year before, I can't remember right now, but I had written a song called Heroes, and I knew the song wanted to be really edgy, and although I have a pretty pop voice, I was like, let's just do this for fun. Like, I have the freedom to be as creative as I want to be. So we texted him, and I was like, hey, what are your thoughts on playing guitar on this song? And he was like, oh, my gosh, absolutely. Like, I'd love to. So he lays down the cool guitar parts. It ended up being such a fun song to create, and he just, ever since then, has supported me in just about everything I've done.
That's awesome. Who else? I mean, who else out there would be, like, the top of your list that you'd really want to work with?
I am a huge fan of 30 Seconds to Mars. I think I pretty much, when I'm writing a song and then we're in the demo process and then we're trying to turn it into a real production, I can pretty much find any 30 Seconds to Mars song to reference and be like, this is what I'm going for, this is what I want. But I think Jared Leto is just, like, brilliant, and if there was, like, any small opportunity that I could ever work with him, heck yeah, I'm going to take it. Like, he's just outstanding.
Talk about a person that's full of creativity. There's one for you right there.
Exactly. He's so talented.
If you ever get the chance, though, you have to ask him to wear the Joker makeup in the studio.
So many people. I've had some interviews recently where they ask the same question of, like, who do you want to work with? And they're like, oh, can he do it in, like, the Joker mask? I'm like, heck yeah, he can. He can do whatever he wants. He's Jared freaking Leto.
Oh, that's too funny. So, all right, so the campaign's going on right now. It ends August 15th, which is Sunday.
Yes.
Where can people go to donate to help you get this going?
If you go to my website, www.kennedynowell.com, you can see all the sponsor videos, and you can see all the packages that we've done. We chose this time to not use a third-party website to handle it. So we didn't use Kickstarter. We didn't use GoFundMe because I really wanted to just make it special, and I wanted to feel like anyone who wanted to donate or basically invest in it, I wanted it to feel like a one-on-one situation. So we have 6 packages, from one just being like you download the single and you get the EP 2 weeks early, and then our mega package is like a signed ukulele, Polaroids, like personal thank you video, 2 demos, like all these crazy things. And I really just wanted to like give these people who are wanting to support and invest in me, I wanted to give them something special in return. So you can find everything at my website, everything and more, and it's super easy to work out.
Cool. Yeah, because I was like, where's the Kickstarter? Where's the Indiegogo? Where's the? And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I'm like, it's just right there on the website. Check that out.
Mhm. Yeah, we wanted it to be super personal and not feel like you're going through this whole business thing. Like it's going straight to us, and we send out a personal email every time, and just wanted to make it feel like they're truly investing in something that's tangible to them, rather than just feeling like they're talking to this thing in the far distance.
Yeah, I think it's Kickstarter. One of them. I guess it's run through Amazon. 'Cause the first time I ever wanted to donate to one of them, I was like, how is Amazon involved in this? Like, Amazon has their hands in everything. Like, and that means, in my eyes, they're getting something out of this. So, yeah, cut them out. you don't need them. Exactly. I like your way of thinking.
Who needs the middleman?
Exactly. Very good. So the EP, you're in the process of recording now?
Mm-hmm. We have officially all the songs are written, so we know exactly what we're going to put on there. We have 2 songs that we have crossover, and then we have another song that we just finished production in, and it's being mixed, and we're starting production on 2 more songs. And we're kind of stressing, kind of not, but we really want to get this EP out in October, by the end of October. So we're working as hard as we can to, make something really good, make something we're proud of, something of quality, but also get it done in time.
Absolutely. How many songs are going to be on it?
I think we're looking between 5 and 6. So there's one song that we're still trying to figure out how we want to do it or if we want to do it, but it'll be 5 or 6 songs.
Awesome. Very, very good. Well, this has all been very eye-opening, inspirational, and I can't wait to hear more, because we will hear more in October when this comes out, because you're going to have to come back and promote it. Yeah.
Happily.
Now, will you be doing any videos for any of the songs, or?
Yeah, we're actually planning the music video for Crossover right now, and I think it's going to be pretty cool if we can pull off what we want to do.
Nice. Very good. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I can't wait for all this.
Yay. Thank you.
All right, so everybody needs to go to the website, KennedyNoel.com, to donate to the Crossover EP, and everybody can see you. Where else can they get hold of you?
On Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, pretty much anywhere on social media. You can find me on everything.
Sounds good. All right, Kennedy, I want to thank you so much for your time. And we're
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And, yeah, we're going to play Crossover for everybody since I have the tune, and we're going to share it with everybody. And the last thing is, just before I let you go, if I can get you to cut an ID for me, this is Kennedy Nöel, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
All righty. This is Kennedy Nöel, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
I know Nick is bummed out that he wasn't part of the interview.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, at the same time, the interview would have just went on forever because I would have had a million more questions, too. Like, she covered so much, but it's just, you started to get into the cancer stuff and the, depression and Like, I find that so interesting, and having to deal with that at such a young age, and how just, positive she still is, and it's amazing.
It really is. I mean, I can't speak enough good words about her as a person, not even as a talent, but as a person.
Right.
To go what she's gone through, and be so positive. I mean, God forbid if that was me, I'd probably be a miserable prick who would be complaining like, I had cancer and blah 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 blah. But I mean, she is. She took the other road, and she's happy to be alive, and she's just happy. So good for her.
And she's out there killing it. You know what I mean? Like, amazing.
Absolutely. Abso-friggin-lutely.